Hi everyone, it's Evan, and this is our EARC 109, Foundations of Early Childhood Education class discussion. And we're talking in Chapter 7 about building effective partnerships with families. And so I'm going to look at some of your postings here on the discussion. You can follow along if you want. Thank you for these great discussions, and thank you for supporting what you think with evidence from what we've been reading about. So a lot of you talked about this chart on page 220 from our book. This is very helpful. On table 5, 7.5, it says types of meaningful family involvement. And I want you to notice all those different types. There's 6 different ones they referenced here. Parent education, communication, volunteering, learning at home, decision-making, collaborating with the community. So many people think, and we don't have a lot of training for this, but how do we educate our families? How do we partner with them to create, as the second part of our discussion talked about, common goals for their child? So look at number 1, parent education on page 220. Assisting families with parenting skills, child rearing skills. That's hard. That means we need to be up on what those mean too. And then how do you do that? That's kind of a tender thing to go in and tell somebody how to parent their child. So you might want to think about ways that will work, such as sending home newsletters or articles, suggestions like that. We need to be on top of that. We need to be the experts on that. Then the second thing is, how are we going to communicate about their progress? What is it that they're seeing in the home that supports what we're seeing at school? That's an important thing because they're looking to you as the expert. And then we want volunteers in our classroom, but we don't just bring them in and say, well, get to work. We need to train them, tell them what it is that we want them to do. And number 4, what does learning at home mean? Well, it doesn't mean homework. That's not what this is talking about. But perhaps provide the family with some materials that's related to what you're doing in school so that they can have conversations with their children around that topic and that curriculum. Decision making. Include them in your policies. Have a parent advisory or have them be involved in the PTO if you're teaching in the K through 3 classes later on. And then collaborating with the community. And that on page 221, it also talks about, there's that great article there on what works. And it talks about some community events. And at our CSI Lab School, if you get a chance to visit there if you haven't already, you'll see that in our newsletters, we send home information to the parents about what's going on in the community. So art events, science events, what sort of things that the children can be involved in after school or on the weekends. So some of the suggestions in there are adopt a neighborhood school, get involved in the neighborhood, what maybe a cleanup project or some sort of improvement at the lab school. We had some parents come in and help with our outdoor classroom, putting up musical instruments, assembling things, using power tools. And recently our parent advisory group went to the South Hills to cut some wood, and they got some logs and they cut them into tree cookies, they're called, so little round things, so the children can build with those outside and stack and lift and be involved in that. And so the parents helped with that too. Some of the other things is that teachers are feeling overwhelmed, and it's kind of hard to build a partnership. You're already trying to build a relationship with children and being involved in what's going on in your classroom and your curriculum, and then you're saying, what, you want me to now be involved in their family lives and know what's going on in the community too? Yeah, I do. I know it's overwhelming. So baby steps, bite a little bit off at a time. There might be some people in the community that have talents to share that you can enlist their help and their expertise. I have to do that all the time myself in my own teaching. I reach out to others and get a lot of tips and team with people that way. And then it ends with how to plan the curriculum using what's going on in the community. So, for example, last night in Twin Falls, we had the Arts on Tour event, Cirque de Mécaniques, and the Arts on Tour coordinator invited area children, 5th graders, to come and, to come and be a part of seeing a preview of this event. And they got to be sitting in the audience during the school day. They had a field trip to the college. So be aware of what the community is offering and either take your children there or bring the experts in to help build on your own curriculum. And I wanted to make some comments here. Diane, thank you for your rich responses to your classmates. That was really nice to see that. So take a look, scroll through. By the way, did you know that if you hit discussion board in week 7, then you can hit, there's a collect button where you put a check mark in each one. You can do one that says select all, and then you can collect and you can open them all at once and to give a response there to your classmates. All right, thank you. Kanisha did a nice job of outlining all of the things that we just talked about here. Let's see, Maria, thank you. She did the same thing. And she did a nice job on answering the second part too, about the ability to communicate and negotiate, and being flexible. She reminded us of that, so thank you. And any questions you have, or if you ever want to have a real face-to-face discussion, call me or come by my office. I love those too. I miss seeing you all other than here. Okay, bye-bye.